What is up, Knights of Vex? We are at the beginning of a brand new 3v3 season, and I just hopped off my first live stream of the brand new 3v3 season, and we have a lot of counters for you guys to help you through your first round matchups for the first half, because a lot more coming, a lot more that we have to figure out. I have my main account video coming out Friday. Haven't done those battles yet. That's probably going to be tomorrow morning, which would be technically today's release, to find out even more stuff. But in the meantime, I want to get these videos out the morning of or the morning after the first round to make sure that there are some counters that could help you heading into that final half of the round. So what I have today is an accumulation of all the battles of my last GAC on my live account, or my second endgame account, going over what worked and what did not work. Now, there are going to be a couple of battles I do not show because they're massive overkill galactic legend battles, like Jabba versus Stormtrooper Luke and JMK versus Cody clones. Like, that's very, very easy, not that hard that you guys need to see. So I picked a handful of matchups that I would think would benefit the community a ton. So what I'm going to do is we're going to head right into the video and see what is going to work against some of these comps. We're finally going to have a little bit of answers here. So first thing I want to showcase, Baylan with his Focus Datacron and OG Hondo. Very annoying, especially paired with the Baylan Focus Datacron. Hondo has a level 3 bonus where he's gaining extra stacks of ransom and getting extra benefits like protection up. Very obnoxious to deal with, and he could hit like an absolute truck if you don't deal with him. So with the OG Hondo in the lineup, I tried Bo-Katan Mandalore. I thought that would be a really good option against Baylan, so I gave it a shot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this on 1.5 speed. If it's too slow, we're going to go to 2x speed. But practically going to show over the counter of all the teams I faced today. So over here, Hondo goes first, puts the captive on my IG. Don't know if that's considered good or bad RNG, but he's starting to pop a little bit. Now, I do have some very good modding on my Bo-Katan. I do have a counter video with Lord Vader with her modding. Highly recommend you check that out. But regardless, I go right into the Whistling Bird stance with Bam. Go for a mass swarm onto Baylan. I'm at 14 stacks of birds. He is one shot. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, trying to keep Hondo permanently ability blocked. I don't want any more characters on captive. And look how dangerously low our bow got. Very, very scary. So over here, I try to get rid of OG Hondo next. And boom, just like that, 1 minute battle, was able to get rid of a very tough team using Bo-Katan. That, not going to say Bo-Katan isn't expensive, but when you're facing Baylan with his Focus Datacron in 3v3, this is pretty good value. So there's going to be some RNG with the captive. I think IG getting captive first is not typically the best case scenario. Probably the best case scenario would probably be Bam. But regardless, I think that was a really good battle. It will be my counter going forward if I see OG Hondo in the lineup. So that's counter number 1. Moving on to counter number 2. This is going to be Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine. And I'm going to showcase here, I am using Great Mothers. Their Datacron was a very high defense cron with lots of health. And the level 3 was, I believe, the Evade. Or it wasn't like any sort of crazy max health or protection 3. It was just a high health and defense cron. I think the Evade, or the buffs on a special or something like that. I use Great Mothers with Dark Side buff on a basic, which means crit chance, offense up, and crit damage ups. Or crit damage up. Practically, that's giving your Spirit massive, massive damage boosts with the crits. Helps her land that crit. Now, the problem with this specific account is my Night Sister is modded for speed for some reason. She does not have an offense set. So she wasn't hitting nearly as hard as she should have. But I still was able to get this done. So anyone worrying about a Grand Arena standpoint, if Great Mothers cannot beat Ahsoka, you're in for some luck. So I have a video going over the strategy and the modding. It's been out there for a while. I highly recommend you check that out. If my Spirit was modded for offense, she's getting one shot there. The blind on Ezra is crucial. This is a double Relic 10 team, a Relic 10 Ezra. Now the RNG check, can you get the one shot? Didn't get the one shot, but I got the stun because I had some potency on my Datacron. So very good. Now over here, I try to land a vulnerable on my basic with Morgan. I was really taking my time and trying to figure out what I wanted to do here. So I was checking. I got resisted with the vulnerable. It did not work. So over here, I want to get rid of his resilient defense. So he still has blind, which is super helpful. I go for a big AoE damage with Great Mothers, which hits 3 times on Ezra. Was not enough to kill him. He has a little slither of health. But over here, I get the basic on Spirit, and it ends up killing him. So even with the wrong modding on Spirit, it's still possible. You just have to make sure you're outspeeding enemy Ezras. This is going to be a great counter this season. Just keep in mind, if you are going to face an Ahsoka with the Dedra Mira Datacron, with all that health defense, and most importantly, crit avoidance, you need to make sure your spirit is modded for high crit chance and has the dark side buff on a basic, because that will increase her critical chance rating. So I know a lot of players are going to want to use Wampacron, but it doesn't give you any critical chance. So if you do have a dark side buff on a basic cron that has really good offense or crit damage with some crit chance, you're going to be in really good shape. So try to bump up your Night Sister Spirit's critical chance on her mod set to make sure she can land those one-shots on Ezra and land the crit. Next up, double Relic 10 Maul and Star Killer on a Stranger Squad. They are rocking a 25% Dark Side Terminator Cron. I am going with Satele. I was rocking a light side buffs on a special with a 40% protection cron. So I think for this to work, you got to make sure you survive the beginning and that your Revan doesn't get one shot. If he gets one shot, the counter is over. But this is going to be strong even with a 25% Terminator cron. You just have to survive. So if you want to bump up your relic levels to Revan to ensure the delta gap isn't too big, that might have played a difference in this matchup because there's only a 2 delta gap instead of a 3. So I'm going to show you guys the opening play of what it looks like. He is targeting Revan. They are going hard. That big basic got him into his savior mechanic. We got a sub. I'm showcasing Plumbus Grumbo was giving us gifted memberships, which is very awesome. Big shout out to him on the video. So I just waited a second for the alerts to go away, but practically you go all in on Star Killer here. You do the Mass Swarm. Protection's at 40%. He's at Relic 10. It takes a little bit of time. End up going for the middle ability first because I saw the turn order on the right had Revan going next. I wanted to have that permanent taunt up. It's super important. Now at this point, I knew I was in really good shape unless Stranger ended up getting a mass revive with his middle ability. But this is going to be solid. I think what I'm going to do on my main account is I will be bumping up the relic levels to my Revan and probably giving him some survivability because the damage mostly comes from Satele's protection, and he's practically relying on Satele's protection for the true damage, not any of his own physical modded offense. So might change my Revan to more survivability route and make sure he could survive against a very powerful Star Killer lineup in Stranger. So that was solid as always. Next up, Pirate King Hondo with Silvo and Vane. They have a 25% Terminator Cron and a max health Scoundrel level 6. I'm rocking Kylo with Rey and Hux. Dark Side 25% Terminator. It is the way to go. It is almost essential to get this to work properly. RNG check in the beginning. If they increase Hux's cooldowns, you're going to have a very tough time. They increased Kylo's. That's probably my best case scenario. Now, at this point, I'm debating, do I go for the second special here? I ended up doing it because I felt comfortable enough that I had advantage on Hux and that I only wanted them to target Kylo. So I'm making sure I can land those stuns on Vane throughout the whole battle. If he gets out of stun, you're in massive, massive trouble. So over here, I popped the quick ultimate because I want to get Darkside Rey's second ability back up and running to land. Well, they're immune to shock, but I got held to protection recovery, and the rest of my team is safe, mostly Hux. Now at this point, I go for another stun on Vane, even though he's already stunned. I want to make sure he's permanently not going to move. Get the advantage back onto Hux. It's so important for Hux to have advantage because it will stop the turn meter gains from the team. Now over there, he revived because Kylo didn't get the kill. They don't gain the turn meter from that ability because our Hux has advantage. It's so important for this counter to work. Because if Hondo gets the turn meter train rolling and Vane gets out of stun, you are absolutely fried. So obviously there's an RNG check if this they increase Hux's cooldowns. The second best option for you is going to be JMK Cat with Wat Tambor. By far going to be your second best option. But sometimes JMK is needed for other things, and it's typically not a better banner win because Wat is more than likely going to go down when you're running that. So this was a 55 banner win. I could have stolen it out for a 57. Solid. Now, another big answer that we had was Rey, Ben, and Luminara with her focused Datacron. It is scary. It is very scary. You have to be careful. I could have run Leia. I had her available. I wanted to try something a little less expensive because players might not want to use Leia on Rey this season. So I went with Seer, Maul, and Malicos with a 25% Darkside Terminator Cron and good crit damage and some armor pen, I believe. The most important thing about the Terminator Cron is that I was able to proc Maul's Frenzy early because I was able to get out ahead way before the enemy team. And without Ezra in the lineup, you can actually increase their cooldown. So what I did was, Maul, 25% Terminator, he's going first. Now Malicos goes second because he's fast. Then I get the Frenzy triggered. I'm increasing Ben's cooldowns because you do not want him to hit under your protection with 100% offense as a stat. That is scary. So over here, all 3 in damage immunity. But I have protection disruption. Seer gets triggered her savior mechanic. Always going for Seer, it seems like. She dies to a second whirlwind. So that protection disruption is doing a lot of scary things. So at this point, I'm like, I'm in some serious trouble. I gotta get kills fast. I end up killing right because Malicos hits like a truck with the right Datacron. So it saved me. And at this point, the rest is cake. So if you are gonna run this, make sure you're bringing in a very high damage cron to make sure you can get Rey down before any crazy whirlwinds. Now, Cassian Andor. On this account, I was able to test against him. This was a Cassian, Clea, and Vel lineup. He's got the focus Datacron. I wanted to save Queen Amidala specifically. The cron that I used was a light side buff on a basic with tons of damage. Armor pen, crit damage, offense. Pure glass cannon. That was the goal here. This team, that was the cron I was rocking. This Cassian team is very disappointing, or at least maybe they're just really trash at low star or something like that, because this is way too easy. This is not going to be the most optimal Cassian lineup regardless, but as you can see here, I one-shot Cassian because the vulnerable is such a hard counter to Cassian, because if he gets crit, he's done. So that's why I like Queen Amidala here, but this felt like serious overkill in my personal opinion, but regardless, it worked. Now, next up, Darth Vader duels end with Royal Guard. Disclosure. My opponent did not have the Emperor Palpatine level 9 and did not have the bonus turn level 6, which is by far the best combination for this team. If you guys are going to run this, keep in mind, if you're running Bane, if he kills Palpatine, he's getting instantly defeated. You got to be cautious of that. If you have the bonus turn on Vader, and he's faster than your Bane, he's going to go first. So what you really have to do is you have to be so cautious when running this that you don't kill Palpatine too early, because you're going to get instant defeated. So even if you increase his cooldowns, if you kill him, you're going by. So be cautious with running this. I ran it on this account because it didn't have the bonus turn, which I still think it would be fine with the bonus turn, but the Palpatine 9 is the dangerous part. But over here, I'm debating what I want to do. I want to make sure that I don't do anything too crazy. I did end up going for AoEs. I think the next time I run this, I might just stick to a basic and only go for Vader, because, like, at that point, if I ended up doing that, he would have been defeated. So you have to be really careful. Again, this was not the bonus turn of the Palpatine 9, but I'm letting you know what I would do with Bane if there was. So you're going to get fractured right away. Hopefully you survive. I would do the cooldown increase and then stick to basics on Darth Vader duel's end, then switch to Royal Guard and kill Emperor Palpatine last. That would be my strategy. So next up, we have Saw Gerrera with Luthen and Chirrut. So my opponent tried to split the team as best as they could. I'm using the same counter I would do in 5v5. So obviously Saw Gerrera with Luthen is a very powerhouse of a team, especially with the Chirrut Cron. But Inquisitors are a very solid option against it. So right now I'm going into battle, and I think the most important thing is starting with an AoE. Their Cron had 180% defense, I believe. It was crazy high, so I'm not hitting nearly as hard as I normally would. So over here, trying to get that damage immunity and that cooldown reset as fast as I can. I got to get a kill. So over here, I'm going back to back with AoEs. We end up popping them. Go for this. Go for the banner recovery move. And we end up killing Saul Luthen just like that. So very solid. We are almost there. We got about 3 minutes left of this video. Next up, we're facing Tarkin clones. I'm going with Wampa and her focus Datacron. Most of the time, you're probably going to use the Datacron with other teams, but I think for this situation that I was going for efficiency. So Wampa is able to solo a Tarkin team. The plus to this is that Tarkin, with his AI, will never use his middle ability against solo targets, so he's practically useless. And the Cron that they're rocking here is a tank revive, so Scorch you're going to end up seeing does come back, but it doesn't matter because Wampa is too strong. Way too strong. If they ever fixed Tarkin against solo targets with the AI, maybe this could be a potential danger, but super efficient. If you are going to set Tarkin on defense, just keep in mind that Wampa can solo him, so be very cautious. Next up, Tuskens. I've been doing this for a long time. Very easy counter. If you see Tuskens on defense and you have Tarkin, it's a practical 57. All you have to do is just rock the AoEs. Warrior's going to remove your buffs, gives advantage to Tarkin. You're going to see here, Boom, boom, firepower. Immediately deleted. So 57 banners here. Next up, my account. On offense, I brought Stranger and Starkiller. I do not have Spider Maul on my account. So I was like, you know what? Let me have some fun with him on offense. Ended up using Stranger, Starkiller, and crew against Inquisitor Barriss. With the Inquisitor Barriss 9, the Wordy Inquisitor 6, and Terminator level 3. So pretty good. My opponent said it with Maroc. Very interesting. I go for a stun on Inquisitor Barriss. She cleanses. And this wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. They actually end up doing quite a bit of damage. They have a ton of heal over time. So look how low we were getting for a little. I did not like it. So over here, I go for the big one-shot on Ninth Sister. Go for the stun. End up pulling it around. So I end up getting a 57 banner win. So solid. I know not a lot of players are going to use that on offense. But if you guys do have him available without Spider Maul, I was able to use that there. So now, I brought Cassian on offense on this account to test him out, to see what he could be like. I used Cassian with Vel and Cinta. They're all at 5 stars. I was like, you know what? Let's see if they could take out Commander Cody with his Focus Datacron with Kix and Captain Rex. And my god, just take a look at this battle. They start with advantage, which is a huge big bad for Cassian because he can get crit. Now, look at that. I didn't move. The battle, 6 seconds. My entire team was gone. Over. So, I'll show you what I did. I'm currently in shock right now behind the webcam with my audience, with all the knights, because I was like, what the heck just happened? I didn't even move. So I'm like debating, like, what the heck do I do now? Tried to go for a big hit on Cody. It wasn't bad. I think the biggest problem with this team is that they have advantage. They're critting us way too easily. So it did not work. But if we swap roles for a second, I'm thinking maybe you can use Commander Cody on offense against Cassian. Maybe that'll be a hard counter. They're very fast. They start out with advantage. You're going to be able to crit the team. They do just insane damage. Maybe that's something to consider. So I think that's all the recordings that I had for today, because it's only 3 seconds left. But let me know what you guys think about these counters. And have you guys experienced anything yet that I haven't? This, again, is preliminary. This is for the first round of the season on my endgame account, not my main account. I'm recording that today, technically. So we will have more answers for you on Friday against a top 50 opponent with way more difficult Datacron. So this is preliminary. I hope that helped you guys. If it did, leave a like, comment down below. And if you want to support your boy Vex and this channel growth, hit that subscribe button, guys. That is the best way to support me and shows your appreciation for the channel. So best of luck in your grand arena, guys. May the force be with you all, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.